Hello everyone, my name is Will. I am a private music tutor, tutoring in piano, voice, flute, euphonium, music theory, ear training, and much more. Today I'm talking to you about what age we should start lessons. I get this question so many times. Is my son or daughter old enough, young enough? Am I too old? Can I learn anything? Is it really a worthwhile thing for someone of my age to learn blah, 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 blah? Okay. The whole age thing to me is a little silly, and the reason why is I feel that music is in its own category. Here is how I view things. You can legitimately start teaching kids how to play music as young as they are able to actually sit up and move their fingers independently. This is true. The thing you have to keep in mind, the factor is how long can you teach these children before you need to stop. So in general, I actually have taught many students, well not many, a handful of students as young as 3. And the reason why is because, when kids are that young, they don't have the blocks in their head. Like if I were to tell a 10-year-old kid, okay, now move your fingers like this, skipping every other note. That may... Why am I skipping notes? What's going on? This is too hard. I have to open my hand. Those arguments automatically come in. When a kid is as young as 3, there is no argument at all. They're like, okay, you might have to help them open their hand a little bit. But, it's almost like trying to teach a kid a language. Now, again, I'm going to compare music to language. I always felt that music has a lot more to do with learning a language than it does to actually physically doing something when it comes to the mental part of music. It is its own language. So you teach a kid a language young and they learn it quick. You teach a kid music young, they learn it quick. So fast forward, okay, Mr. Will, my son, is 7. He's very hyperactive. Is he too young to start music lessons? My answer would be no. He's perfectly capable of learning music lessons. What you have to do is you have to tailor lessons, or at least teachers should be tailoring lessons to each one of their students. The attention span does get bigger in kids as they get older. Legitimately, for around 5 and under, I do 15 minutes each, and then from there you'd expand to a half hour. 45 minutes, an hour, depending on the actual focus and the drive to actually do this. But yeah, so, there's a lot of questions over how young can you be, how old is too old. There's no such thing. So let's go ahead and answer the opposite question. So we talked about how young. I've had students as young as 3, and people who make excuses for their kids being too young after the age of 3 is, to me, just ludicrous. I mean, they can learn music. If they're interested, they can do it. If they're not interested, they're not going to do it. All right. How old is too old? Well, my friends, I have people in their 70s taking piano for the first time in their entire life. That is not too old. In fact, this is the interesting thing about as we get older. So, a kid starting at 3, it's like a blank palette. Then we get to an older kid. They have space, lots and lots of space, but they also have questions. So they could go really quick. It could go a little slow. It could just go, Teenager, again, as long as they aren't fighting with you the whole time, they will learn. It depends on the teenager. Then you start to get to adults. This is where I actually find the problem. I actually love working with older people because they are fantastic. They really are. You learn a lot from them while you're teaching them, and they are willing to try what you tell them to do when you're doing piano and voice and things like that, because they're old enough to understand that they are paying you to teach them because they don't know and they want to know. So I actually find it easier to work with people who are a little older because they really want to learn. I tend to have a hard time with people between the ages of like 20 and 40. That age group has an idea already, and I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, but what tends to happen is this idea or this almost fantasy of what music lessons is going to be about tends to be a problem. What happens is, they expect something to happen that can't happen that quickly. That's where I really run into the people of, oh, I'm taking lessons for a month. I should be able to play Moonlight Sonata. My answer to you is, what? No. You're not going to be able to do that. You can't read 16th notes. You don't know how to read key signatures. You've never read a note before in your life. Your fingers are not coordinated. So what are you thinking that you're going to take lessons for 1 month and go ahead and play Moonlight Sonata? That's insanity right there, my friends. But, so, yeah, Are you too old to take lessons? There's no such thing as too old. The question is, and as you heard me say multiple times now, it's drive. Do you actually want to learn this? Do you? Are you willing to do what you're told to do to learn it? Will you put the time into practice? I think the biggest fallout for me when it comes to students who are unsuccessful, and I don't have very many, there's maybe a handful that I could say I would consider unsuccessful. One, they either dropped out because they lost interest because they didn't know how much work it'll be, or two, they're still taking with me, but they're making progress so slowly because they're not willing to put the practice in. So I think, if this person, no matter what age they are, is willing to work at what they are doing, they will be successful, and there is no age limit to when you start learning music. If this person is thinking that they're going to go on a fast track and boom, boom, it's going to be done, they're not going to be successful. That's the type of student that I tend to say, I'll take you on, but I'm not sure how this is going to go. So back to my whole point. There is no age limit. You can start as young as you want. You can start as old as you want. The idea here is that you need to have an open mind. You need to be able to listen to what you're told, and you need to be able to practice. Practice makes or breaks your lesson. If you don't practice between lessons, you won't advance through your lessons. So that is my thing for today. There is no age that's too young. There is no age that's too old, but there is a lack of drive that will stop you from being successful. All right, guys, I hope you have a great day. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, check out my Patreon page. Just look up William Parker 3, and I hope you guys have a great day. Bye.